Hello and welcome back to Kitchen Tips with Spread Some Magic. We are on Chocolate Week 2. And this one says, is it okay to melt chocolate chips instead of chopping my own chocolate? Good news, this shortcut works for many recipes. When a recipe calls for melted chocolate, we usually reach for a quality bar chocolate. And let me tell you, Trader Joe's has a great one. It's the Pound Plus bar, and they have it in a variety of levels of dark to, I think, even milk chocolate. But the idea of using chocolate chips instead is appealing. Chips require no prep, whereas chopping up a block of bar chocolate makes a mess. We baked 4 batches of brownies, one with bittersweet bar chocolate, one with semi-sweet bar chocolate, a third with commonly available semi-sweet chips, and a fourth with bittersweet chips. Surprisingly, the texture and appearance of all 4 pans of brownies were the same. There were some slight differences in flavor, but if all you have is chocolate chips, this swap can work. Just try to use the same sweetness level as called for in the recipe. That makes sense. Chocolate chips do tend to contain less cocoa butter than bar chocolate. However, this lower fat content means that they might take a bit longer to melt than chopped bar chocolate. They also may contain stabilizers designed to help them hold their shape when baked into cookies. As a result, we don't recommend using them in chocolate sauces or puddings where a perfectly smooth texture is necessary. So brownies make sense, but anything that has like if you want to make a chocolate ganache or a chocolate frosting, I don't recommend melting chocolate chips. Why is some cocoa powder labeled natural and some labeled Dutched? What's the difference and which one should I use? I usually have both in my pantry. In most applications, you can use either. There will be some texture and flavor differences, but you won't ruin a recipe. In the world of cocoa powder, there are 2 main categories, natural and Dutched. The natural product is made mainly of unsweetened cocoa solids that have much of their fat removed and then dried and ground into a powder. Dutching refers to a step of adding an alkali to neutralize the powder's acidity and to mellow its astringent notes. It also darkens the color. So if you want darker, use Dutch process. We tested a half dozen recipes side by side using both types of cocoa in each recipe. The biggest finding was that none of the recipes failed, even those with a high proportion of cocoa powder, and thus the potential to be most strongly affected. But that didn't mean there weren't differences in appearance, texture, and flavor. Not surprisingly, Dutch processed cocoa produced cakes, cookies, and hot cocoa with a darker color than the versions made with natural cocoa. In terms of texture, natural cocoa produced slightly drier baked goods as well as cookies with less spread than did Dutch processed. Finally, we found that baked goods and hot chocolate made with Dutch cocoa displayed more of the fruity, bitter notes of dark chocolate, while natural cocoa delivered a more straightforward chocolate flavor. Both natural and Dutch cocoa will work in most recipes unless the recipe specifically calls for one or the other. Use whichever fits your preferences in terms of flavor and appearance. It'll tell you. Thanks for joining me today. Spread some magic wherever you are.